In a busy city like Copenhagen, how you get around for daily activities both affects your own and others' experience of the city. Our choice to bike, drive, or take the train can greatly impact how pleasant the city experience is. How do different forms of transportation affect city communities?
The medieval streets of Copenhagen's inner city were originally built for horses and carriages. When bicycles were introduced in the 1880s, the city's narrow, dense layout naturally supported this new form of transport. Cycling quickly became popular, especially among the working class, who could now commute from beyond the old fortification walls.
But as cars rose to dominance in the mid-20th century, urban development shifted. Like many American cities, Copenhagen became overrun with cars. Streets that once carried pedestrians and bikes were now clogged with traffic.
And it all started to change in 1962. Since then, Copenhagen has been transforming. Redeveloping streets for people-powered transport, converting roads into walking streets, and turning parking lots into vibrant public squares.
I think just slowly trying to stop that process and make something more walkable. They actually found out that more people came. What you make space for, more will come off. So if you make more space for pedestrians, more pedestrians will come, and if you make more space for cars, more cars will come, which is very obvious in the US.
These streets are not just aesthetic upgrades, they're hubs of connection and community. By prioritizing accessibility, Copenhagen has created urban spaces where both the young and the old feel safe.
They're places where people meet, rest, play, and interact. They've made the city more livable and inclusive. In Copenhagen, people-powered transportation works with public transport to connect people to each other and the city.
Let's take a look at how Copenhagen created a more connected city.
1992, the Danish Parliament passes the Orsted Act, officially making the government's support for public transportation and its commitment to reducing road congestion. In 1994, metro construction begins for the M1 and M2 lines, costing 6.7 billion Danish kroner. 2002, M1 and M2 officially open, connecting Vanløse to Vestama and Lørgravsparken. 2003, metro access expanded to connect Nørreport and Frederiksberg, and by 2007, the M2 line was expanded to Kastrup, allowing access to the airport. 2019, the M3 line opens, allowing for more centralized city travel. 2020, the M4 line opens, connecting the M3, M1, and M2. In 2024, the M4 line was expanded into Copenhagen South. A paper presented at the Aalborg University analyzed the initial effect M1 and M2 lines had on other forms of transportation moving through Frederiksberg and the Harbor Corridor. By 2004, 2 years after the M1 and M2 opened, Frederiksberg saw a 13% decrease in car traffic, and the harbor saw a 5% decrease. Bus and bike transport saw a respective decrease of 26, 47, and 9%.
I feel safe on whatever mode of transport I'm on, whatever time of day that is. I frequently take the metro, which runs, as far as I know, all night.
The metro system here in Copenhagen is very frequent. During rush hour, metro trains arrive every 4 minutes. After midnight, though, the frequency drops to about 15 to 20 minutes, making trains less frequent.
And I'm not worried about, oh, I shouldn't go, after midnight or anything like that, or it's too early, too late. Mm-hmm. So, I feel a sense of safety. Also, when getting off public transport at one end or another, if that's late and there are no people around, I'm not worried about my safety either.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that as well. Are there any improvements you would make to things like the bus, metro, or train systems in the city?
Well, sometimes there have been frequent price increases the last few years. I can understand where some of that goes to, but it feels like it's been happening too often. So I guess it goes to funding newer stations and the new metro line.
The average price of the metro ticket is around 20 Danish kroner, or about $3. This price has increased over the years that the metro has been in service, and some are beginning to notice the change.
One thing I like about the Danish transportation is that you can buy a ticket and you can go anywhere in the country with one ticket, even though you use different systems like local trains, local buses. They might belong to a different company in itself, but we have a unified ticketing system. So you don't have to buy multiple tickets from different vendors. Also, they tie in different timetables so that when you arrive one place, you don't have to wait an hour to use the next type of transportation to move on to your final destination.
Norreport is more than just a station. It serves as an open public space to connect the people with the parks, historical museums, and the inner city.
This human-centered approach to design has had a real impact on well-being. With cleaner air, calmer streets, and more opportunities for spontaneous encounters, the city has become a place where people want to stay. Here, life is not just about moving through the city, but truly living in it.